Alright, let me try this again. I am making this video on the topic of live to die. So, life, to me, is only meaningful because it is juxtaposed with or contrasted to the concept of death. So life and death are polarizations of one another, giving each other meaning and reference points for the future. So we were born into this life, and eventually we will be taken out of this life due to mortality and due to, these are beliefs, but it's not really a belief, it's kind of factual at the same time. Due to mortality and due to the progression of our environment and ourselves, we are only here for a limited amount of time and a limited amount of energy. So our path is directed by the concept of death. That's why we don't, if you were immortal and you did not have the concept of death, you would not prioritize things. You would sit there and look at a wall for the end of eternity. You would sit there and not make any not have any magnitudes of priorities, just because you know you have infinite time to make things happen. And so why would you even want to make progress? Because you have no fuel. Death is kind of like fuel for life. Death is what motivates you to get up out of the morning and get some food in your belly and get you. Most people have such a negative connotation of death, like it's such a detrimental, sad, malevolent part of life, and it is to some extent, but at the same time, it's what gets us moving, it's what gets us motivated, it fuels us to do things. So it keeps us from spending our entire existence in stagnation. It keeps us flowing. It's a cycle of life and death and life and death, and you know, especially with your environment, but the death of certain things will feed, you know, you have the death of an animal and it feeds the vultures and the maggots and things like that, and as above so below. That it's really just a progression of things, and without that progression nothing would really happen. So live to die is not the concept of two as in A to B, it's more of the concept of two as in the number. And so I say that because our entire life is a balance of two opposites, of hot and cold, of good and bad, of to serve or to destroy, you know, of life and death even. So it's not just saying you live to die necessarily, like that is your entire purpose, but you live to die. And what I mean by that is the roller coaster of opportunities and experiences, and of seeing things as benevolent or malevolent. And we have the choice. That's the ultimate thing, is the choice to pick a side, to be honest with ourselves, and to really think about our feelings and emotions, and to put them into perspective, and then move on from that moment to the next of I should act in this way or I shouldn't act in this way. And that's what leads to the personal, like our environment sculpts the personal bias by presenting us with new choices to make and to new priorities to put into place. So live to die to me is not a sad concept at all. It's actually quite beautiful, and that we are born into this life and then given a choice of the polarities of experiences, of good or bad, or to see things as positive or negative, or hot or cold, or, you know, dry or wet, or whatever. And it's all up to our subjective perspective to make that choice, for the rest of us to be influenced by that choice. So your choice influences the rest of time and the rest of your environment for the end of until eternity, until it's over, until there's nothing left. And I don't really think that really just happens. I just think that every single moment of every single thing is relevant to all things, and the all is all encompassing, and it takes up the entire process of life and death. And that's kind of God, that's kind of source, that's kind of the black hole kind of feeling, that it's eventually it's all encompassed within one. And so to me, live to die is quite inspiring, and I hope that if you heard this video and you meant anything to you, maybe that you'll leave a comment and your perspective, or not even, but just maybe it's something that you can mentally digest and hopefully fuel you to experience things in a way that you can choose, because that's what it's really all about.